Hello, the Academy. Today I'm with director Phil Beauvais. Hello, Phil. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good.
Great.
Nice to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Yes. Thank you for taking time to answer some really important questions because the whole goal of this academy, the Triple Threat Academy, is to get them informed about everything, every single side of the business that they don't know of, and how they can train to upgrade their game in this business of life, in this artistry game that we're living in. So I'm going to start the questions, Phil. You
Okay.
being a director, what's your job? What do you do?
I'm basically the last line of defense for the story. I'm also the person who's going to work with everyone that's related to the project. So I have to be the one that works with the producers, the client, uh, depending on what kind of shoots we do, with the talent and everything that's related to the technical aspects of the shoot. So for me, I have to know the story, I have to understand the story, I have to like basically have a complete idea of what the story is going to look like, and then after that work with everybody else to make that happen.
Definitely. And do you cast the people that are going to get hired? Because obviously you're casting and you're going to be working with the clients to choose whoever fits best into whatever you're casting.
Right. So yes, I most of the time I will be in the casting room, or as we are right now in the casting Zoom world. Sometimes there'll be like a first round of casting that I'm not really involved with. I'll get some options, which is like usually I'll get like between 10 to 15 options. And then from there, we'll do maybe first, second casting call. And then after that, it'll be the last basically call back casting. So I'll be involved with pretty much all aspects.
Yes, and this is where the important question comes up. What are the do's and don'ts? Like, what is it that they need to know? And what is it that you see that they should not be doing? Like, help us understand this whole thing.
So there's a few things that are like I don't really know. I don't want to talk about the don'ts because negative, and I'm not
Yes.
really, you know. But the reality is, there's a few things that you need to remember when you go into a casting call, which is first of all, most actors don't take their time, and that's the biggest thing when you're in the room or you're on Zoom or a self tape, whatever it is, take your time. I know that you want to get it over with because it's stressful, but the reality is, if you don't take the time, you don't let the work that you've done prior to this show on camera. And that's what we want to see. So that's a huge one. And it happens like every casting call. I feel like probably anywhere between like 50 to 60% of the people that show up in the room, they're like stressed and they want to get it over with, and it ends up being sad because we feel like we can't get out of them what we need just because they're so stressed and they don't take their time. So that's a big one. Another one would be to not be afraid of the people that are in the room. So these people ultimately want you to succeed. Every person that walks through the door for us is somebody that we want on our set, and then they start to show us whatever they've prepared, and then we decide, okay, is that somebody that like got the character, the story, or is that somebody that I can work with because they seem interesting and they bring something to the story, and they also take direction. So these people want you to succeed. So ultimately, these people are there for you. Don't see it as something that's extremely intimidating, because I know sometimes there'll be a table with like, three people on the table, and there'll be a couch of like six people in the back because there's clients and there's producers, but all of these people want you to succeed. So remember that, because that's extremely important. And then there's also the director, which usually is going to be, if it's a real casting or a callback, the director will be in the room and will be giving you some sort of direction. And so that person is there for you. Don't be afraid of them.
Mhm.
Be aware that you are allowed to engage with them. If you don't understand the direction, ask for more examples. If you feel like you have another take in you at the end of this and you feel like, okay, I can really step up my game if I just get one more take, say it. Tell us, okay, listen, I just need one more take. Can you give it to me? And we'll give it to you, because we feel like, you know what? Maybe it's true. Maybe you just needed that one more take, and we'll give it to you. So the people that are there are always there to help you, and that's really important.
Mhm.
So that's a few. Wait a second. I have more. I have more.
I know you have more, but in all this of taking your time and we want you to succeed and taking direction, what is it that you see when you do direct an actor that is having a hard time taking direction? What does it tell you?
So usually the people that can't take directions is people that have sort of rehearsed in their head, or they're stuck in one way to do their character or their story. So that's a big problem, because you, especially when we do auditions, usually we'll give you a little bit of the story, a little bit of the character. You have sides that are like usually max 5 to 7 pages. So you don't get the whole picture. We do. We have it all on our side. So if you show up with one idea and one way to do things, and we try to give you directions, and that freaks you out because you only had this one way to do it, well, then it might not work out, because we need to have somebody that we can play with. And sometimes in the room, even though I know that you've done it really well as the character, I'll ask you to do something completely different just to see if I can play with you. Because on set, my job will be to give you a bunch of different directions if you're not getting exactly where I want you to be. So I want to see if you're going to take that direction. So I might ask you to do something completely out of character for whatever you're auditioning for, but it's for me to see if I can play with you and we can collaborate together. That's huge, right? The whole thing about being on sets is you're collaborating with sometimes hundreds of people if you're on a big set. And so everybody needs to be able to take directions from each other
Mhm.
and understand that this is going to get even better if everybody can collaborate and give something to, to help the product be even better than what people thought at first.
So you said a lot of great things. Just the fact that we play, make sure that we play. If we're out of our heads and into our heart and into our body, I think being comfortable in our body makes it even more comfortable in us to listen to the direction in order to follow where we could go. Because if you're stiff and technical, obviously it's not going to go anywhere, and the energy is not going to flow between the director, actor, and the whole set. So you need to go in with an open mind, and that in order to get to that place where you feel confident to walk on set going, I got this. I'm ready for the director to direct me. What do you think are the best measures in order for us to show up really prepared and ready for the industry?
So there's a few things that I feel like practice makes perfect, for sure. Especially if you've never done this before, get on a set. I don't care how you do it. Be a background actor, be a PA on whatever. Be on a set. See how it works, because depending on the situation that you're in on a set, you'll understand that sometimes you might not be the cog that we give the most oil to, because we need to have a scene that's specifically targeted towards like how beautiful the shot's going to look on camera. So we won't have time to direct the actors as much as we will have to direct the camera work. So sometimes you'll see that actors just have to be on right there, right when we need them, because we've been fiddling with the camera and the lights for about an hour just to get everything right. And so if you're not on right there, right then, well, then everybody else is waiting, and then it causes like a ruckus. So sometimes it's just about being on a set and seeing how everything is done and how many people are on a set and what they do specifically. That really helps.
Right.
After that, there's such a thing as knowing your place on the set. So when you show up and you've done the work, you've practiced, you've got your character down, you've talked to the director about like whatever they want out of this scene and specific character work. So you know what you're supposed to do. You come on set and you just wait. That's the sad thing about acting, is a lot of times you just have to wait. So during that waiting time, prepare yourself. If you need to run lines in your head, if you need to run lines with your partners, do it. But always be ready, because when we call you, you don't have 10 minutes to get ready. You have to be on then. That is your job. So I think that's huge. And being able to prepare ahead of time, even for auditions, if you prepare for a character and you try it 100 different ways, well, then you show up, and when I give you a different direction, you've prepared for that direction. And so you show up and you're already ready.
Mhm.
That's huge for us, you know? So your job is to do all the work prior to showing up on set and being in front of the camera. That's your job. When you show up on camera, you should be ready. And that should be, we're playing. I'm playing, you're playing. The
Yes.
camera guy's playing, and you give us a bunch of options and we're all having fun. Your real job, the thing that like really takes time and practice and effort, is what you do before. And that's what's going to separate you from somebody who's really good on set and somebody who we have to coax into getting where we need them to be. And that takes a lot of time. And usually, depending on the set that you're on, there's no time. There's never time. Like I've been shooting a lot of commercials recently, and it's, if you're not there in like a minute, then everybody's kind of like huffing and puffing, and like, you know, you're like, oh God, that's creating even more stress because
Yeah.
the actor wants to be there but don't know how. And so it's like a mountain that becomes bigger and bigger, bigger. So doing the work prior to showing up on set, huge.
Great tips. And I see the difference when because with the academy, I see the ones starting off, I see the ones having done this for years, I see professionals coming to practice. There's one thing I have to say: the energy that you bring into the room is the same energy you're going to bring into your audition and when you meet people and when you connect with people. That energy speaks volumes to me. So Phil directs a lot of commercials and TV work. I've always directed shows, and I was always in the casting, the casting call for any production shows where I had to choreograph and cast. The first thing, when you walk through that front door, make sure you bring that energy first, because that's the first eye line that we get. Bang, bang, bang. We already selected the ones that we want to work with because of the energy they're bringing into a room. That's huge. So that tells me the person that's confident, the person that's coming in because they did all that work. So that means for a dancer is that they've done the warm up. That's a bonus for us dancers. We cannot dance like this because we need to warm up in order to have our legs reach our head and do all these crazy things, because we'll get hurt if we don't warm up. So it's the same thing for an actor. If you're in the flow, in the movement, and the movement is constantly there, you show up and you're ready. You just have to listen and do it. And that's where being comfortable with the art form that you chose to do, which you keep on saying, it's your job. It is our job. Our job is to constantly be in flow, bringing that energy to what we love to do in order to show up when the opportunities come, so the directors can have fun with you, not stress you. The point was not to stress you. It's always to have fun with you. So make sure when you open that door that you're coming in with all your fullest potential, and they're going to meet you where you're at. So if you're not ready, obviously they cannot make magic. So going back to casting dancers, is that energy that they bring into the room. Then obviously you see the ones that are ready because they're ready to learn the choreography. They're on fire. And then after that, they're just having fun. Third point, have fun. Then we pick the ones that they have the whole package. You've got the technique, you've got the discipline, you got the work ethic that we're looking for, you got the preparation because you prepared for years before showing up to a big casting call or a production. And then we just want to work with you and have fun and tour and do all these beautiful things. So the same thing goes on TV sets, and in the end, like when I think of it, it's so simple what we do, right, Phil?
So simple. And this is one of the craziest things is sometimes the best people for a job is somebody who's got absolutely no idea what they're doing, because they're just coming in with, I'm just going to have fun. And then for you to get there after you've been practicing a little bit takes a long time, because you need to know exactly every little step of your character, your body, everything that you need to get done, because now you're thinking about everything. And then if you can do all the work, get in the room, forget about all that, and
Yeah.
just go there and have fun, then you're the person we want to play with. And even if you don't get that job, we'll remember you. And this is the biggest thing that I can't stress this enough. If I have a great audition with somebody, I don't care if you don't fit the bill, because sometimes it's the world of auditions. It's shitty because a lot of times you'll get, you'll be the best person in the room, and then the producers go, you know what, they don't fit the bill, or that actor's too tall for our actress, so sorry, we can't pick that person. And so if you get that perfect audition and you don't get the role, I'll remember it. Everybody else in the room will remember it. And so next time I have a project, you're definitely on my casting list. And this is not a joke. This is not like one of those like, oh yeah, like let's keep them on the hook. I have people in my casting list that I've casted probably 2 years ago and that didn't make it. But as soon as I have something, I email them because I know that I can have fun with them. And I know that like when they show up, everybody on set's just going to be like, oh yeah, that was a great audition. Mm-hmm. This is so important. Mm-hmm. Remember that these people, they know when you're good and they'll remember that. But they'll also forget really quickly if you're bad. And so this is another thing. Even if you have a really bad and tough audition, you can't beat yourself up because you're going to get, if you're going to stay in this business, you're going to get 100 more auditions and you're going to see that casting director over and over. If they like you, eventually they'll give you something because they'll be like, that role is exactly for that person. So remember that the good ones, we know them, and the bad ones, we know that sometimes it's just you're stressed, like it happens. We try to give you as much as we can in leeway and just go like, you know what? Next time. And so we want you to succeed. And that's super important. But to get there, doing the work is key, right? Because for you to come into an audition room and just have fun with me, to be able to do that, you need to have done all the work and just let go and know that like, no matter what happens, it's just going to be fun.
And when we say do all that work, make sure you do the work that is necessary for the job that you're asked to do. So when we say do the work as a dancer, take your classes. Do the work. If you're learning your scene work and you need to know about your character, know how to dissect a scene, know how to build that character you're going to bring in. It's not lines that you're going to come and read in an audition. You have to really come in and do that proper technique work. There's teachers out there. There's good ones. There's really good ones. And, Montreal is so small. You can find them. We're like this. And in the Academy, I only try to bring you the best of the best. And we're a whole team with directors and producers and casting and teachers that teach all their discipline. The goal is to help you shine bright. There's one thing, though, that is happening right now, Phil. Like you go and you audition, you don't get it, you don't get it. How long? What's your suggestion on the ones that are like discouraged? Because I'm like, I've auditioned 100 times. How much more do you want me to audition?
That's tough because usually the way it goes is you audition, you don't get it, and then you give up, and then you go to that next audition and you get it.
Yeah.
Because you've given up and you're just there because you're like, you know what, whatever. It'll just be what it is. At this point, I don't care. And that's usually the audition that you get. And that's because you let go of all your fears. You let go of all those expectations before you show up on set and like before you show up in the room. And, if you build it up so much as like, this is going to be the thing that like, finally I'm able to get this audition, then you get crushed every time. Right. But the reality of our business is you're probably going to get like a big, if you get 10% of the auditions you go on, that's huge. Right. And this is the thing that like people need to remember. If you're going to do this as a job, you need to have something that fills your soul with artistic value. And to do that, you need to search for what it is. Like for me, when I started out, when I was acting, I needed to be in acting classes all the time because if I didn't act in acting classes, I didn't have wins, right? Because in the beginning, if you don't get the parts, you don't have a win. And you need a win. So you go to acting classes and you do scenes and you get those wins. You feel like, I got that one. That me and my partner, we really connected. I completely forgot where I was. And like, that was the scene. I got it. So if you have those wins, when you show up to an audition room, then you're not showing up with all this baggage of negativity. You're showing up with like, you know what? The last thing I did, I had a win. So I'm going to show up in that room and I can probably have another one. And that's big. So to me, finding those artistic endeavors that make you really happy on a day-to-day as an artist, that's different, or that's a compliment to whatever you want to do. If you want to dance and that's your passion, find something that's maybe not dancing, but that's close to dancing. Maybe you teach, maybe, you know, you take classes that are different than your specialty in dancing. Maybe you keep creating these new things that you can actually use eventually in the future as an artist. And that'll keep you grounded. And also it's going to keep you having those little wins. And those wins are so important as an artist. That's what you strive for,
Yes,
right?
add
So
new skills, add new skill sets to what you already know what to do. And the growing and the developing is a never-ending journey. Like you're constantly growing from learning this to learning this. Even the business side of it that they don't teach artists, that business side, because we are in the show business. We got the whole artistry. Okay, I'm taking classes, I'm doing all this, but then there's a business side. I don't know how to save money. I don't know how to, invest in order to pay my classes. There's so many different sides, but you have to be, as an artist, because you're your own entrepreneur, you need to understand fully where you need to play this game if you want to do this. And don't get discouraged. And then, when you ask your whys, why am I doing this? Right? Phil, it's like, why? I know what drives me. My passion drives me, and the people embark because of my energy and my passion. I already know where I stand. I do good work when I'm on set. I do good work. I lead people. It's also leadership skills, entrepreneur skills, the whole artist skills. There's so many different skill sets that you need to bring to the table in order to give the best of yourself. But the why for me, when people are like, I need to find my why. Yes, you need to find your why and your purpose and your passion, but let it come to you. Let it reveal to you. Because like you were saying, we're holding on to a dream. But that 10% you were speaking about, 10% of the auditions we do, we're going to land. But yesterday I was speaking to an agent that people in her roster, they get like 100%. And in my head, I'm like, I know we're Montreal, but I would love to get into the mindset of those actors that get every single contract. They actually get called and not even audition and they're on set. They do exist, those people. Wouldn't it be
yeah.
nice to always have those goals? What do they do on their daily day in order to land that job constantly and not have to worry?
Well, this is interesting because a lot of those people usually, because they're working so much, when they show up in an audition room, they know exactly what to do, right? So it's like it's a vicious circle if you're on the side that you're not getting your auditions, but it's also the complete opposite if you're working. Because once you start working, people know you. People, if they like you, they'll remember you, and they'll just give you jobs before even casting because they know you'll do it, right? So to do that, to get to that point, is you have to be trusted by everybody around you, right? So meaning the casting agent, the directors, everybody, if everybody trusts you and trusts that you're doing the work and you're good on set and you like what you do, it becomes so easy to cast you because we can vouch for you to anybody, right? This is huge. My job is to vouch for every single person that I cast because I have to go to bat to whoever is on top of me, whether it's producers, clients, whoever is paying for this thing. I have to go to bat for you and say, listen, this is my person. No matter what, like I want this person because I trust them. I know they're going to do the best job. And sometimes we take chances, right? So you have to make me feel like I can trust you no matter what. That's huge.
That's huge. You have to make me feel like I can trust you. Yes, Phil. Yes, Phil. So if you got all these tips, remember to have fun. Remember to do the work. Literally play. You have to start learning how to play in this game. Don't take it too seriously. Take the technique side seriously. Yes, take your training. That's up to you to wake up every day and go, what did I schedule in today? I said that I want to do this as a job. So what are you going to do today that is going to create whatever you want to do eventually? Because in my head, I'm always here for the long run and not for that instant fame overnight that's going to crash anyway, because as soon as you go up, it's going to go back down. The world keeps teaching us that. And what are you going to do about it? So make sure whatever you do daily is going to bring you to this longevity career. And then what happens, just like we're doing now, we're giving back. And this is what my mission is, to give back to the next generation, to help the next generation. We're here to keep helping and making people strive. And I believe that sharing that passion, the knowledge, the expertise, the years of experience that we have on set, on stage, in rehearsals, in classrooms, and even in meetings, how many times us as directors will talk and we'll back each other up, and we see the good work we do, we see sometimes when we could do better, but we have friends, we have people that are there to support us. The Academy now is going to bring in a new program just to even raise the bar a little bit higher, and this is where Phil comes in, being a director that could actually cast in the Academy, because he can do that, right? That's what you can do one day. So we are going to we're going to announce it, Phil. I have a Triple Threat Academy Instagram page. On that page, this is going to become a landing casting page. So only the best auditions make it on this page. But before making it on this page, this is what Director Phil keeps talking about. It's the work that you're doing. So you're going to send us your audition tapes. Phil is going to select between, let's say, between 6 and 10 people, all depending. Phil has the authority. He'll decide what he wants to work with. And then you get to work with Phil. And then he is going to put you on film. And we're going to have a professional videographer. I'm already getting my soundproof room ready. And we are going to make you land on this casting page where I'm going to invite casting agents, production, anybody that I know, because I know a lot of people here in Montreal. And they trust me. They respect my work like they're going to be respecting Phil. This is a thing. If you land on that page, it's because the respect is there. You did the work. And I want to encourage the ones that are not there yet, not to discourage, because we only want to showcase the best of you. And that takes time and that takes practice. Like he said, you have to keep practicing. And I will also add that energy flow. We're having fun. When we open and we want to look, the first 7 seconds, for me, it's 7 seconds. How do you know from the first 7 seconds or 3 seconds if they're great or not?
I've been like, now I give it a little bit more time, but usually
Okay.
it's within the 10 first seconds, like,
Yeah.
but like now, because it's auditions, right? You got to give it like at least a good minute to make sure that like everything is kind of like they settle into the character or whatever. But yes, usually 10 seconds for sure,
Because people don't have time. If we send like the biggest casting house like 100 videos, you think she'll have time to go through all of it? Because it's going to be the same. But what's going to make you shine and be different from everybody else? I guess it's the energy you're going to bring to your self tape. So you have to be committed in that first 10 seconds. Because if you don't have me, I'm already out to the next one, right? This is l'Italienne. You know what l'Italienne goes? Fast.
know.
All right? You have to show me in the first 10 seconds who you are, where you want to be, if you want this enough, because I want to work with you. So let's go. If I show up full out, you need to show up full out at this game of life. This is too much to handle, Phil?
No, I think that's great.
I've been intense in my dance production stuff. I've even actually directed many commercials in the I was very young directing commercials with different directors because we were always doing dance movements, but they never had a clear vision like you do. You're great. You have a clear vision on how to direct dancers, but a lot of people didn't. So I always had to step up and help the directors see the vision. This is how we're going to film it. This is what we're going to do. But this is me coming out of my little dancing shell because I've studied all that and say, hey, this is going to be a great idea. And this is where, respect came to play, where it's like, hey, she knows what she's saying. She knows what she's saying because she did the research and she did the work. It's not because I'm coming from nowhere. So do the work, know what you're doing. Make sure your references, because that's one thing I look, who trained you? Where do you come from? For me, that's really important. I need to hear those references because we know who's here in Montreal. And you want to be there because anybody in the Academy could be sitting in that audition room cheering you on because they coached you. So Phil, in this program with you, what can they expect? Like let's talk about this program with you.
Um, Truth. The reality is I'm doing this because first of all, I want to cast people out of this academy because to me, I trust you. I know that the teachers you have are amazing. That's the other thing, is that every single teacher that you work with, I know them and I respect them and I know they do great work. So for me, when I'm going to see these audition tapes, I'm going to be as truthful as I can. I'm going to give you the best tips that I possibly can give you. But I want you to know what you're doing well and what you can do better, so that when you show up in this academy page and people look at you, they go, oh, that person's ready. No matter what, that person's ready. So I'm gonna try my best to give you all my knowledge.
Okay, so whether you're a singer, musical theater interpretation, whether you are a dancer, and whether you're an actor, it's a triple threat, right? The more skill set you bring, the more he gets to work with you. So make sure that we're going to give you a 1 minute audition self-tape. Now, self-tape, what would you like to see? Because I do teach this in the academy. What do you want to see in the self-tape?
So I'd like to see an American shot. So basically from your waist up. I'd like to see somebody who's well lit, and please, sound is extremely important. So the best sound you have, the more quality we give to your self tape.
Okay, they're going to ask, what do you mean by sound? You have to explain that.
So have your sound device, whatever that is, if it's your computer, if it's your phone, if it's your headphones, make sure they work really well and they're as close to you as possible. So this is the duality between where we want to have a shot of at least your entire body, and we also want to have good sound. And if you can't get your computer or your phone or whatever close to you, at least make sure you're in a room that doesn't have any echoes to it. So that's pretty big. If you have to, put some carpets on the floor, but like make sure that it doesn't sound like you're in a vacuum. That's really hard to take an audition piece seriously.
Yeah.
If like, it sounds like there's work being done around you and you're in the middle of like an echo chamber.
Yes, exactly. And for you dancers, well, I mean, it's going to be hard seeing you fully dance only American shots. So go ahead and dance in whatever safe zone you're in, or whatever demos you have. You already should have a demo ready. So, and this is going to teach you to always have something ready. And if you do have something ready and you don't land on it, just make it better and keep going, keep going, keep going. Because I'm telling you, this is a work ethic that I want to teach you. And what Phil wants to bring you is to showcase your best self onto this page. And this is going to, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a life changer. It's going to be your transformation. And we're only here on the journey to watch its beautiful transformation happen. So this is exciting. I'm actually excited. I wish I had this page when I was younger. Like it's like an audition. It is the audition. Yeah. And now they're gonna make the callback. So your first audition is sending it in. The callback is getting called from the selected people that Phil is going to bring on. And then you're joining this program with him. He's going to be coaching you, directing you one-on-one. And then we go and tape. And then you land on the page. So from the audition to the callback to the casting page, can we say that?
Yeah, I like the casting page. That's nice.
And then what happens after the casting page? That's the big win. You get casted, because that's the goal. And the end result is that you want to land that job. You want to land it. So let's do that. I'm going to help you land that job by giving you this opportunity. Then all the teachers and Director Phil is going to help you get the results that you want. So if you have a dream and this is something you want, stand up, show up to the occasion, and let's move forward together. You're not alone. You're definitely not alone in this academy. Like, you are supported, you are cheered upon, and we want you to win full out. This was a great interview, Phil.
Oh, good.
I'm just feeling so motivated on my own personal journey. And what's next for you, Phil? Do you have any stuff coming up?
Yes, in the next 2 weeks, I have two videos that I'm video clips that I'm directing, and one of them I'm producing as well. So it's going to be intense.
Yay! Oh, it's okay. So last minute thoughts. Let's finish it off with a bang.
That's always tough. I can't wait to meet you, and I want to work with you guys, and I want for you to be better than what you already are right now. So you deserve everything that you're going to get after all of this is over.
And I believe in you. So believe in yourself, be ready, be prepared, do the work. We will see you in the academy. Thank you so much, Phil, for being with us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Have a good day.